Waves just released the first ever generative AI tool called Illugen, and to be honest, it's kind of disappointing. With all the new AI tools being released every single day, this one really only catch my eye because of the huge promotion it got. I saw people like Beautiful Beats, Chucky, Larry O, J Cactus all promoting this thing on Instagram and YouTube, so I thought it might be good. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of using AI for creative tasks like making music, so I was still skeptical. Now the reason I really wanted to check this out and make a video about it is because just recently I tested out Output's new plugin Co-Producer, which is also based on AI. And in that video I came to the conclusion that the plugin worked great. It would be a lot greater though if it was generating samples from scratch. Now Waves Illugen seemed to be exactly that, a creative AI tool made by musicians for musicians that would allow you to create any sound you want by just simply describing it with text. At first, that was exactly what I wanted to test and make a short video about, but things got out of hand pretty quickly from there. So in today's video, I'm first of all going to show you how Waves Illugen works, and I'm going to demonstrate to you why it's not where it wants to be, at least yet. I'm then going to talk about some of the way better alternatives that are out there, then demonstrate to you how they work, and in the end I want to discuss some of the issues that come with the use of AI in music, the dangers for us musicians and producers, and where all of this is heading. But now, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so how does it work? First, you select whether you want to create a one-shot, a loop, or a sound effect. You then type in your text prompt, getting pretty creative if you want to. Illugen is going to take a few seconds, and then it's going to spit out 3 different results that all relate to your prompt and that you can use however you like. You can also change up the creativity level of the AI from tame to wild to wilder. This will allow the AI to get more creative around your prompt and come up with more interesting results. We will test this out in a minute, but before that I just want to talk about the pricing real quick. So the whole thing works by a credit system, and basically when I create a one shot it's gonna cost me 1 credit. For a loop it's gonna be 2 credits, and for a sound effect it's gonna depend on if I create a short one, which is 1 credit, medium one, which is 2 credits, or a long one, which is gonna cost me 3 credits. Now in order to get these credits you will have to subscribe to one of the Illugen subscription plans on the Waves website. So 150 credits are gonna cost you $7.99, 300 credits are gonna cost you $12.99, and 600 monthly credits are gonna cost you $19.99, which is quite expensive in my opinion. You're also gonna get the same amount of credits as a welcome bonus when you sign up right now, and as long as you don't cancel your subscription, your credits are gonna roll over every single month, so you're not ever gonna lose any credits because, you didn't use them up in that 1 month. I generally don't have an issue with this being a subscription model, as it is cloud-based and unused credits roll over every single month. A feature that has been lacking from services like Splice for years now. If you just want to try out Illugen and see what results it can come up with, you can also log in or create a free Waves account and test it on the websites. You're gonna get 30 credits that you can use to make sound effects, loops, and one-shots. There's no VST integration, at least not yet. And the desktop app that you get when you are subscribed is a little bit buggy sometimes. I had multiple failed installations before restarting my computer and getting one that actually worked. And when I tried to log into the program, sometimes the browser that lets me log into my Waves account just doesn't work. That said, once the software started up and I logged in, I didn't have any issues so far. At least as long as I have good internet connection. Now with these basics out of the way, let's try to actually create some sounds with this. Okay, so first the one-shots. Unprocessed upright piano. And hit generate. It's gonna take a few seconds. We can pop these bottles if you want to. And there we go. We have 3 piano one-shots. And as you can see, this doesn't really sound like anything. When you give this thing pretty basic instructions and you want it to create cool sounds, it's not gonna do that. You have to get a little bit more creative with this. I also saw somebody demonstrating that you can use this to create voice text, so let's try that. SG Beats said by a attractive American woman. Let's see what it comes up with. So, I gave it some instruction on what it should say and also on who should say it. Okay, this is the first one.
SG Beats.
That's not too bad.
HG Beats.
Right here it completely fumbled to say SG Beats.
SG Beats.
And with the last one the timing is a bit off, but this is kind of okay. If you get a little bit more specific, this thing can come up with kind of cool sounds. Now the last prompt is going to be rusty synth played by a giant worm. I really don't have a sound in mind and this is just nonsense. Still I think Illugen is best when it comes to creative prompts like this. So here's what we got. Okay, that is not a synth at all, but it somehow sounds like a wormhole or something. Now for loops, you have the option to set a certain BPM, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna leave it on audio for now because I don't want to use this in a project, but if you have a specific project tempo, you can sync these loops to that tempo. So first of all, something pretty generic as well. Upright, piano, played by a classical musician. Let's see what it gives us. I mean, it definitely is a piano, and it also sounds like a classical piece, but the pure sound quality is tremendous. It's really, really bad. And yeah, you could flip this into something, but nah, it's not good. Okay, let's try the next one. Percussion loop made by 3 gorillas on ancient drums. I'm kind of expecting like really big drums, like cinematic drums for this, but let's see if it understands that. Okay, those are definitely not big drums, but the first percussion loop is sounding kind of good. With demos of other people I've seen so far in mind, I do think that percussion loops are a strength of Illugen, just because with percussion loops you don't have to be super clean. They can sound a little bit weird with a little bit kind of texture, that's what you expect. So generating them with AI is way easier than, for example, generating a realistic sounding piano. The last thing I want to test is a really complex sound, which is a 60s soul sample with vocals. So right here, it would need to create multiple layers of sounds in order to achieve that. And we're gonna see how it turns out. Okay, so we got 3 loops that have drum loops and 1 instrument going. No vocals at all. And dude, this doesn't sound good. That sounds like the clown music you would hear in a circus. Now, if Illugen is not good for one-shots and loops, maybe it's great for sound effects. Let's see. We're gonna test a short sound effect by saying we want a simple wind swoosh transition. So I have a really specific sound in mind right here. You know, a wind swoosh. Let's see if we can deliver that. That's actually not too bad. It's a lot less bright than what I would expect, but it's definitely a swoosh, and it also kind of sounds like wind, so kind of did what I wanted right here. Then for medium length, we want to have an atomic riser ending in a sub boom. So we have a riser that's atomic, whatever that means, and then we wanted to end in a impact with a lot of low end, basically. Let's see if we can deliver that. That's actually pretty good. Okay. With the last one, you can definitely hear how it layered 2 sounds together, basically. Same for the first one. Now, these didn't sound too bad as well. So let's start a long one. And for this, we got really creative and wanted deep texture from under the Wembley Stadium on game day. So basically, I want to hear some cheering that's really filtered. Not sure if it can deliver that. And surprisingly, it did. And that again is where the strength of this whole AI generated content lies. Some of these sounds are cool, some are usable, but most of them don't really sound high quality, if they're not fail to convey the prompt altogether. I personally would much rather spend my money on a proper sample pack made by a human with high quality sounds than experimenting with an AI like this. It's super cool to do so and to see what weird results it can come up with. But for making actual music, I would say it's rather unusable. So let's look at some of the alternatives that are out there. There are countless of websites out there which allow you to create audio from text prompts, going from AI voiceovers with your favorite actors' voices to complete songs that have vocals and full instrumentation, everything. In today's video, we're only going to focus on two of them, mainly Suno AI and Output Co-Producer. Both of them are pretty similar to Illugen in some ways, yet they work pretty differently. Okay, so let's talk about Suno first. Suno AI is probably the most advanced AI song generator that's out there right now, and I can create an entire song including vocals, lyrics, instruments, everything, all by typing in a simple prompt. So I gave it the instruction to create a vintage soul sample with a saxophone, drums, blues guitar and bass, and this is what it gave me. And even though you can hear that sound quality sounds a little bit weird, it's still crazy how much of an actual music piece it gives me just from one single line of text. Now this has been created using their 3.5 AI model, which is not that advanced, but if you have the paid subscription you can use the 4.0 model, which is way cleaner when it comes to the audio quality on the overall generation. And this is what I got from requesting a instrumental, simple, lush piano. That's sad. And right here, when you know it, you can kind of tell that it is AI. But if somebody showed this to you and said, hey, I just recorded this song on my upright piano, you would be like, whoa, what a cool song. And you would never question if that's AI or if it's real, because it does sound super realistic. Now, Suno AI is gonna cost you $10 for the latest model and around 500 song generations per month, which is a lot more than what you get with Wave's audio plan. You can also upgrade to the professional plan for $24 a month, which is going to give you up to 2,000 songs. If you don't want to spend any money on Suno, you can also use the free plan, which gives you access to the 3.0 model and 50 credits per day, which is around 10 song generations that you can use every single day. This is really the best AI to create original samples that you can later chop up and flip into a beat, or for creating full songs with vocals in them. Now, even though Suno AI is miles ahead of Illugen when it comes to sound quality and the general sound creation, I would say that there's still things going for Illugen, or rather against Suno AI. More on that in the next chapter. Now, Output Co-Producer is also based on AI, but it utilizes it in a quite different way. Instead of creating a new sample every time that you enter a prompt, what it will do is it's gonna analyze Arcade's entire sample library and pick out the samples that fit best to your song and your prompt. In a more recent update, they also added samples from third-party developers, so you don't only have access to the Arcade samples, but also to ones that are made by people like Cinesamples or Octopus Sounds. The pricing starts at $9.99 per month. And if you want to learn more about the plugin, just watch my review up here. The big advantage with this approach is that all the samples are hand-selected and created by humans, if not played in on real instruments. And this just makes the sound quality be a lot better than in Wave's Illugen. It also means that you have access to an unlimited amount of sounds, as there is no credit system with the Output Co-Producer plugin. On the other hand, you're always picking from a pool of predefined samples that everybody else has access to as well. So put simply, this is just a glorified AI searcher for samples. Still, it's very comparable to Wave's Illugen, because both these tools are there to create samples for musicians, to help them make better songs, and not to replace the musician altogether. As said, there are countless other platforms that do similar things, paid and free. But now, let's get into some of the issues that these AI bring with them. With the rapid growth of generative AI, there has been one term that's been coming up again and again: ethical AI. But what does that even mean? All AI models have to be trained on a lot of training data in order to get good results. A lot of training data. But where's that data even coming from? Now, in the case of Suno AI, the company admitted that they used publicly available audio material from all around the internet in order to train their model. This of course means that they also used copyrighted materials to train it. And it comes at no surprise that they have been sued over this multiple times already, with the lawsuit still going on and Suno AI claiming that they used it under the fair use condition in the US, it brings up some pretty worrying questions. What if my music was used to train that AI without me even knowing it? What if your music was used? The fact is that the more data they collect, the better this AI possibly gets at replicating our music. And thus the AI really create original music if all it does is creating other artists' style. Ethical AI is fighting exactly that. The use of publicly available data in order to train AI datasets by fairly compensating original creators and making it transparent what data has actually been used. Now, right at the bottom of the FAQ about Illugen, Waves claims that they follow the principles of ethical AI and that they only used sounds that they legally own in order to train this AI. If that is true, it will largely explain the reduced compatibilities of Waves Illugen to something like Suno. But it will also mean that you wouldn't have to worry about copyright infringing another musician's work or your songs being taken down because they're too similar to the work of another creator. Nonetheless, you still don't know exactly what data has been used to train this AI, and the only platform where you won't have this issue at all is going to be Output Code Producer. Again, it's only filtering predefined samples that were made by humans with the help of AI. AI is developing at an insane pace, with big tech putting billions and billions into it. At the same time, consumers are getting fed up with all the AI trash that's been released every single day. The Suno AI lawsuits kind of remind me of the way Spotify established itself inside the music industry. Back in 2008, they created and demonstrated their entire platform based on pirated songs, because they didn't have deals with the major labels back then. Some say that only this demonstration convinced the big three to make a deal with them and get Spotify to the point where it's at now. Suno using copyrighted material in order to create an insanely good AI model that can create pretty solid songs basically within seconds is not that different to this. This entire business is about money, and while Suno is being sued for copyright infringement at the moment, I do believe that if they cut in the major labels and their artists on the back end, they're probably gonna get away with most of the stuff they did, just like Spotify in 2008. In my opinion, ethical AI is still the future to all of this. That said, Waves Illugen just shows us how much more limited it is compared to models that were trained on all data possibly available. Illugen is just not ready yet. The idea is there, the graphic design is there, but the AI behind it is just not refined enough. We will have to give it 1 or maybe 2 years until it gets to a point where it's actually good and usable, and the way they promote it right now. That said, you don't need any of this AI to make great music. Heck, where's the fun going when all you do is type in a prompt and get exactly the result that you wanted in the first place? This might be enticing to someone with no musical background who just wants to make a song without ever getting into, the technical details of how to actually create music. But for us musicians, we don't need it, and I certainly don't want it. That said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. There would be much more to talk about right here, but I don't want to make this video unnecessarily long. So definitely let me know what you think about this whole AI in music topic. I would really be curious to hear what you think. See you guys in the next video. Bye.